What if I told you that you're not just wasting time, you're slowly giving your life away? That every maybe tomorrow is a quiet surrender of the life you were meant to live? It's a tough truth, but it's one we must confront. Now, not later, because later is a luxury you might not have. We all carry truths deep within us, quiet voices that whisper from the corners of our mind, reminders of what really matters. But too often, we silence them. We live like we're invincible, as if time bends to our will, as if next week, next year, or someday is a promise etched in stone. But the harsh reality is, it's not. Each sunrise marks a day we will never get back. Each sunset is a quiet reminder that the clock is ticking, whether we're paying attention or not. What I'm about to share with you might sting a little. It might challenge your comfort zone. It might even trigger something deep inside you. But that's the point. Because unless we're willing to face what's hard, we'll never grow beyond what's easy. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 truths, not motivational fluff, not recycled cliches. These are time-tested lessons drawn from the Stoic philosophy, a way of living embraced by the most resilient minds in history. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending life doesn't hurt. It's about confronting reality with strength, clarity, and acceptance. And these 7 truths, I didn't just read them in a book, I lived them, through pain, through loss, through moments where life didn't just challenge me, it changed me, and I'm sharing them with you so that maybe, just maybe, you won't have to learn the hard way like I did. So for the next few minutes, I ask one thing: pause whatever else you're doing, put the distractions aside, and truly listen, because this might just be one of the most important videos you ever watch. Not because I'm special, but because the message is, let's begin. Truth number 1. We always procrastinate and we always miss out on life. Be honest with yourself. How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll learn that new skill. Tomorrow you'll go for that run. Tomorrow you'll write that book, build that business, chase that dream. But somehow tomorrow always moves further away. It becomes next week, then next month, then next year. And one day you look back and wonder, where did all that time go? Here's what no one tells you. You're not just procrastinating tasks. You're postponing your life. We fall into the trap of thinking we have time. We convince ourselves there will always be more time, more chances. But that illusion is a thief. It quietly steals our days while we're busy planning the perfect moment to begin. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, said it best: you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Let that sink in. You could be gone tomorrow, and if that's true, what are you doing with today? Why do we procrastinate? Because we're scared. Scared we're not ready. Scared we'll fail. Scared others will judge us. Scared we'll discover that we're not good enough. But here's a truth you need to accept. No one ever feels fully ready. Confidence isn't a prerequisite. It's a byproduct of action. Look at the people who've done what you dream of doing. Are they smarter? Maybe. More talented? Perhaps. But here's the difference. They didn't wait. They didn't wait to feel ready. They didn't wait for all the lights to turn green. They didn't wait until the fear disappeared. They acted. They moved forward with the fear. The world doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards action. You think you'll get another chance? Maybe, but maybe not. Seneca, another Stoic thinker, wrote, "While we wait for life, life passes." And that's the haunting truth. While you wait to feel more confident, time is slipping away. While you wait to be perfect, opportunities are passing you by. Life isn't a rough draft. You don't get to revise it later. This is it. Are you really willing to waste another year chasing the illusion of the perfect time? Because here's the other trap: perfectionism. You delay your dreams because you're obsessed with being good enough, polished enough, perfect enough. But perfection is a myth. And if you're waiting for it, you'll be waiting forever. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you did something brave while still feeling afraid? That's the mark of true growth. The enemy isn't failure. The enemy is waiting. Waiting until it's too late. Waiting until regret becomes heavier than fear ever was. You think procrastination is harmless. It's not. It's the quiet killer of potential. It doesn't destroy your life in one dramatic moment. It does it slowly, one delayed decision at a time. So how much time do you think you have left? 5 years? 10? A lifetime? You don't know. No one does. And that's exactly why you can't afford to keep living like you have forever. Life is calling. Not tomorrow. Now. So, will you answer? Or will you let procrastination steal the only thing you truly own, your time? You've already heard the truth. Perfection is a lie that delays your life. And yet most people wait. They wait for the perfect version of themselves, the perfect time, the perfect conditions. But here's the hard truth. That moment never arrives. When everything finally seems flawless, when the stars align, when the fear fades, when the conditions are just right, then you'll begin, right? But let me ask you this. How long have you been telling yourself that? Weeks? Months? Years? Perfection doesn't exist. It's a clever illusion, one your mind uses to keep you frozen. It whispers, just wait a little longer. Get better first, make sure everything is right. But right never comes. That perfect moment you're waiting for, it's not around the corner. It doesn't live in tomorrow. It doesn't exist at all. There is no perfect future version of yourself waiting to rescue you. There is only now, this moment, fleeting and fragile, but completely yours. And if you don't begin now, chances are you never will. Imagine this. Years from now, you're sitting alone in a worn-out chair, watching the sun fade beyond the window of your quiet home. Your body is older, your hands shake a little more. And as you look back on your life, what will you see? A long list of dreams you buried beneath fear? Countless days sacrificed to hesitation? Moments lost, not because you weren't capable, but because you kept waiting for perfect? Will you look back with regret, or with fire in your heart? Will you say, I dared to live, I dared to fail, I tried even when I was scared, I burned brightly, imperfect, but alive? So many people postpone their dreams, thinking that someday they'll have more time. They say, I'll do it when I'm less busy, when the pressure eases, when things settle down. But what if that someday never comes? Life doesn't pause while you wait. It moves forward moment by moment, whether you're ready or not. You're not just delaying a task, you're delaying your existence. And if you've been waiting for a sign, here it is. This is your sign. There will never be a better moment to begin living your life than right now. Not next week. Not after. One more degree, one more raise, one more ounce of courage. You will never feel fully brave. You will never be perfect. You may never feel ready. But by acting, by daring to begin, you will discover your power. You will learn that the only way to feel ready is to start anyway. You can't control what tomorrow brings. You can't guarantee that time will wait for you. But you can control this moment. You can choose now. You can choose to delay again and risk waking up one day with a heart full of regret. Or you can choose to act imperfectly, fearfully, but truthfully. Because, if not now, when? Time never rewinds, and missed chances rarely return. So don't waste your life waiting for something that never existed. Truth number 2, we misjudge what truly matters. You think you're living, but in reality, you're merely surviving. Every morning you rise and throw yourself into the grind. Emails, meetings, targets, deadlines. You chase money, you pursue titles. You hunger for applause. But when night falls, when the noise dies down and the lights go out, why do you feel so empty? You believe that success, wealth, and recognition will fill the void. That once you achieve more, own more, become more, you'll finally feel at peace. But peace doesn't live at the end of that race, because the finish line keeps moving. Have you ever asked yourself, where am I rushing to? What exactly am I trying to prove? And to whom? We misjudge what truly matters. Society feeds us illusions that you must always achieve, that your worth is measured in trophies and titles, that to be someone you must always be more than others, and we believe it. We throw ourselves into a race without asking who set the course or why we're even running. But tell me, when is it ever enough? When will you finally allow yourself to stop chasing and start living? Because if it's never enough, are you really living or just performing? Look at those lying in hospital beds, their final days ticking away like sand in an hourglass. Do you think they regret not earning more money? Do they cry over missed promotions or luxury cars? No, they mourn time. Time they didn't spend with the people they loved. Time they gave to things that never loved them back. And someday that could be you. Unless you choose differently, starting. Now we talked about how we often chase the wrong things. Money, recognition, validation, believing they'll bring fulfillment. But the cruel twist is this. When we finally reach those goals, we often feel more lost than ever. Because the truth is, the most painful regrets don't come from what we did. They come from what we didn't do, the dreams we didn't dare to chase, the life we never had the courage to live, the moments we watched slip by because we were too busy chasing someone else's idea of success. Seneca warned us centuries ago. It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Time isn't what we lack. We squander it. We pour it into empty distractions and shallow pursuits. We give away the most precious thing we have, our attention, to things that don't matter. So ask yourself, how many hours today did you spend scrolling through your phone, comparing yourself to others, worrying about what someone else thinks? How much of your energy is wasted fighting battles that don't move you forward? Have you ever stopped, really stopped, and asked, what am I doing all this for? Do you truly believe that if you were richer, more famous, or more admired, you'd be happier? Look around. Look at those who already have everything. Do they seem at peace, or are they still drowning in anxiety, fear, and insecurity? The truth is unsettling. Maybe you've built your entire life around an illusion, a dream that society sold you, but never truly belonged to you. Imagine, just for a moment, that tomorrow is your last day. Would any of the things you're obsessing over, money, likes, status, still matter? If they wouldn't matter then, why are you letting them control your life now? Epictetus once said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. You don't become rich by owning more, you become rich by needing less. So what really matters? It's not the applause. It's not the spotlight. It's not the bank balance. It's the quiet things. The sacred, simple moments you've been overlooking. A conversation that makes your heart feel seen. An afternoon walk with someone you love. A moment where you're completely yourself, unfiltered, unafraid. These things aren't loud, they won't trend, they won't get you a promotion. But when everything else collapses, they're the only things that stay. Here's the real issue. The problem isn't that you don't know what matters. The problem is when you do, but you keep looking away. You ignore those precious, fleeting moments, trading them for meaningless distractions. You sacrifice your peace of mind for approval from people who don't even know the real you. You sell your life day by day for a price that's not even worth it. And if these words are making you uncomfortable right now, good, because that discomfort, that's your soul knocking. It's the part of you that's tired of pretending, tired of sleepwalking through life. You now face two choices. You can keep scrolling, keep chasing, keep living a life that will eventually fill you with regret, or You can wake up. You can choose to stop living like a puppet with strings pulled by other people's expectations. You can stop letting society define your worth. Stop chasing things you can't take with you. And finally, start building a life that matters to you. A life that when you look back you can say, I didn't waste it. So now I ask you, will you keep sleeping in illusions, or will you wake up and truly live? The choice is yours. But remember, you don't have much time. If these words stirred something in you, if they shook something loose, don't ignore it. Let this be your sign. Let this be the moment where you stop drifting and start deciding. And if you know deep down that it's time to reevaluate your path, hit like, not for me, but for you. To mark the beginning of a new chapter, one that's finally yours. If the words you've just heard made you uncomfortable, if they shook you, even just a little, then it's because they touched a truth you've been trying to avoid. And now you're faced with a choice. Keep chasing the illusions of the future, or confront the ghosts of your past. Truth number 3. We are stuck in the past and can't let go. So many of us are not living our lives. We're simply replaying them. We sit in silence, lost in thought, watching the same scenes over and over. The mistakes we made, the people we lost, the words we shouldn't have said, the chances we didn't take, we keep asking, what if? As if somehow that question will change the outcome. But it won't. The past is over. Gone. Buried. Yet here you are, still letting it decide your future. Still letting what's dead hold power over what's still alive. It's like tying a heavy stone to your feet and then trying to swim. There it drags you under, deeper and deeper, until all you can breathe is regret. Let me ask you this. Do you think that by constantly punishing yourself for what already happened, you're being noble? That by holding on to the pain, you're honoring? Your past you're not. You're just hurting yourself again and again, this time by choice. Marcus Aurelius once said, forget everything else. Hold on to this alone. Each of us lives only now, this brief instant. Now, not yesterday, not the version of you that failed, not the memory that still stings. This moment is the only one that truly belongs to you, and you are wasting it. While you're trapped in looping thoughts, life moves on. The sun rises. People laugh, love, build new memories. But you and you're frozen behind invisible bars made of regret. You've built yourself a prison of what-ifs and if-onlys. And the worst part? You hold the key, but you refuse to unlock the door. Do you believe that clinging to pain means you're strong? That refusing to forgive means you're loyal to what was lost? The truth is, you're not honoring the past. You're destroying your present. Epictetus once wrote, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. It's not the past that's hurting you. It's you keeping the wound open, letting it bleed every time you revisit it. So what now? Will you keep living inside this cage you built? Or will you finally step out even if your hands are trembling? Here's a hard truth that no one likes to hear. No one is coming to rescue you. No one can undo what happened. No one can feel your pain for you, but also, no one can take your power away unless you give it to them, and nothing in your life will change until you decide it must. Picture this. You're driving a car, but instead of looking forward, you're staring at the rear view mirror. You see the road behind you, the curves, the exits you missed, the cracks you hit. You fixate on those fading tire marks and then crash. That's what happens when you live in the past. You miss what's right in front of you. You hit walls that were never meant to stop you. Stop looking back. Let the past die. Not because it wasn't important, but because it no longer serves you. If you've made mistakes, learn. If you've lost something valuable, grieve it and be grateful you ever had it. But don't let your entire life become a shrine to what you cannot Change, and if someone has hurt you, forgive, not because they earned it, but because you deserve peace. Seneca left us with this timeless reminder: begin at once to live. Right now, not tomorrow. Not after one more sad thought. Not when the pain fades. Begin now. Because if you keep dragging the past into your present, there may not be much of a future left to walk into. You've been told to let go of the past, to stop reliving old pain and step into the present. But even if we break free from yesterday, there's another force that still holds many of us back: our resistance to change. Truth number 4. We resist change, even though it is inevitable. Life is a river, constantly moving, always shifting. It never stands still, and neither should we. But the truth is, most of us fight that current. We dig our heels into the sand, trying to stop the flow. We cling to what's familiar. We romanticize the past. We hold tight to comfort, even when it quietly crushes our spirit. Why? Because change feels like loss. Even when we're stuck in something unhealthy or unfulfilling, it still feels safer than stepping into the unknown. We fear that if we let go, we'll fall. But what if falling is the only way to rise? The truth is, everything will change: your body, your relationships, your circumstances. Even the parts of you that feel permanent now, your beliefs, your routines, your identity, are constantly evolving. You can't hold on to youth forever. You can't save a relationship that has already died in spirit. You can't trap peace in a bottle and expect it to last. And yet, we try. We chase permanence in a world that was never meant to offer it. And when reality doesn't match our expectations, we suffer. Not because change is cruel, but because we refuse to accept that it was coming. Look at your own life. How many times have you been hurt? Not by what happened, but by your resistance to what happened. How many times have you tried to hold on to someone who was already slipping away? How many opportunities have you missed simply because you were too afraid to take a new path? Change in itself isn't the enemy. Our fear of it is, and that fear blinds us. We stay in jobs we hate, not out of passion, but out of fear. We remain in toxic relationships, not out of love, but out of habit. We turn our backs on growth, not because we lack potential, but because we're scared to let go of what we know. But familiarity does not equal goodness. What feels comfortable isn't always what's right. A cage can feel familiar, but it's still a cage. Some people fear loneliness so much that they choose emotional pain instead. Others fear uncertainty so deeply that they choose a slow spiritual death over freedom. We should be afraid, not of change, but of staying stuck. Afraid of wasting years in places that no longer serve us. Afraid of silencing our dreams just to maintain a false sense of control. Marcus Aurelius, with the calm clarity of a Stoic mind, reminded us, all that happens is as habitual and familiar as roses in spring and fruit in summer. He didn't see change as chaos. He saw it as natural, predictable even, like the blooming of flowers or the turning of seasons. So why are we so shocked when things shift? Why do we treat transformation as a tragedy instead of a transition? The truth is, we are never truly prepared for change. It will always arrive, earlier than expected, and it will always feel unfamiliar. But that doesn't mean it's wrong, it means you're growing. And yes, growth can be painful. It stretches us, it challenges us, but it also frees us. So ask yourself, are you resisting change because it's bad for you, or because it dares to ask you to become someone new? Life is already moving. The current is already pulling. You can fight it, or you can flow with it. So now you know, resisting change doesn't stop it from coming. The world moves on, with or without our permission. And when we finally accept that truth, a powerful shift begins within us. Truth number 4 continued. Change is inevitable, but it doesn't have to break you. Everything in life follows its own path, its own rhythm. Careers can fall apart. People you love may drift away. The life you know today may look nothing like tomorrow. And no matter how tightly you hold on, the world will still keep turning. But here's the key. Instead of resisting this truth, you can become stronger, more flexible, more resilient, not broken by change, but reborn through it. There's an old story told in Japan about a samurai warrior. One night his entire home was consumed by fire, everything he had built gone in a matter of hours. Friends came rushing, expecting to find him in tears or rage, but the samurai stood calmly in front of the ruins. He didn't cry. He didn't curse fate. He simply smiled and said, "Good, now I can start over." Think about that for a moment. Can you do that? Can you look at loss, at devastation, at endings and still see a new beginning? Or will you let yourself sink into sorrow, desperately clinging to what no longer exists? Because eventually, you'll have to choose. Hold on to what's already gone, or open your hands to what's coming next. So what should we do? Accept that everything will change. Train your mind to release what no longer serves you. Practice detachment, not as a way to avoid love, but as a way to preserve your peace. Don't let your attachment to something temporary block your path to growth. When one door closes, you have a choice. You can sit there, staring at the frame, or you can turn your head and find another door, one you never would have noticed otherwise. Start asking yourself every day, what is changing in my life right now? Am I fighting it or learning from it? Is this loss trying to make room for something greater? Because here's the truth, you cannot control the world, but you can always control how you respond to it. And once you truly understand that, fear loses its grip. You begin to see change for what it really is, not a threat but a teacher, a guide that leads you into strength you didn't know you had. Change teaches you resilience. It teaches you courage. It teaches you how to let go and begin again. Nothing is ever truly lost. Everything is simply transforming, evolving into a new form, a new season, a new story. You are not a stone meant to resist the winds of time. You are a river. You bend, you move, you flow, and you never stop becoming. Congratulations. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching. You're truly listening. You're doing what most people avoid. You're confronting the truth, and that takes courage. So how do you feel right now? What thoughts have stirred inside you? I'd love to hear them. Share them in the comments below. You never know who you might help just by speaking your truth. But whatever you do, don't stop here. Every part of this journey is a piece of a larger puzzle. And what's coming next isn't just theory. It's transformation. It's time to take this awareness and turn it into action. Keep watching until the end, because that's where you'll find what you've been looking for. You've learned that change is the only constant, and that growth comes from letting go. But even after accepting change, many of us still struggle. Why? Because we're trying to control things that were never ours to control in the first place. Truth number 5, we try to control things beyond our reach. We don't suffer because the world is unfair. We don't suffer because fate is cruel. We suffer because we try again and again to take control over what was never meant to be ours. We tie ourselves up in invisible chains, the chain of expectations, the chain of fear, the chain of control disguised as effort. We tell ourselves, if I just work hard enough, if I love deeply enough, and if I plan everything perfectly, then life will reward me. But that's an illusion, a seductive one. And it's this illusion that drains us, that fills us with frustration, bitterness, and helplessness. Think back to the last time you felt completely defeated. Maybe you poured everything into a relationship, only to watch it fall apart. Maybe you gave your all at work, yet the promotion went to someone else. Maybe you mapped out your life in perfect detail, only for it to collapse in ways you never saw coming. And when that happened, who did you blame? Yourself. Did you call yourself a failure? Did you ask, what did I do wrong? Did you spiral into anger, shame, or self-doubt? But pause, really pause. Were those outcomes ever truly in your control, or were you simply punishing yourself for something that was never in your hands? We suffer not because of what the world does to us, but because of the stories we tell ourselves about what the world should be like. We say, if I love enough, they'll love me back. If I work hard, I'll be rewarded. If I do everything right, things will go right. But life doesn't follow those rules. Because those rules are ours, not life's, and life doesn't play by our script. We want things to go according to plan, but life doesn't care about our plans. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of the ocean, trying to catch each wave in your hands. You reach, you grab, you try to hold on, but the waves just rush in, slip through your fingers and disappear. You feel frustrated, you feel powerless. But here's the truth. The waves were never meant to be held. You can't command the sea, but you can learn to swim, and that's the lesson. You can't control every outcome, you can't stop storms from forming, but you can choose how you face them. One of life's most painful traps is believing we can control how others think, feel, or behave. We want the people we love to love us back. We want fairness. We want acknowledgement. But no one owes us love. No one is required to respect us just because we tried. No one is obligated to validate our efforts simply because we gave our best. The world doesn't revolve around our wishes, and the sooner we understand this, the sooner we accept that people are free to be who they are, that life is unpredictable, that outcomes don't always match effort, the less we will suffer. Just look around. Politics, economics, society, chaos, corruption, injustice. They're everywhere. And if you think you can control it all, fix it all, hold it all together, you're setting yourself up for a lifetime of pain. But when you release that illusion, something powerful happens. You find freedom. You find peace. Because now you're no longer spending your life trying to control the tide. You're learning to navigate it, to rise above it, to focus your energy on what you can influence, your mind, your choices, your values. That's where your true power lives. You've seen how much we suffer trying to control what lies far beyond our reach. But once we accept that truth, another question naturally follows. So what can I control? You can be angry, you can complain, you can scream into the void, hoping the world will listen. But pause and ask yourself, can I truly control this? If the answer is no, then why are you wasting your life trying? You cannot change the entire world with a single cry. You cannot bend chaos to your will. But there is one thing you can always control: yourself. You can choose how you respond. You can choose your words, your attitude, your actions. You can live in a world that often feels insane and still protect your peace. You can walk through storms with calm inside your chest. Epictetus once said, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within your control and some things are not. Simple, but profound. Do you want to be happy? Then start here. Learn to let go of what was never yours to hold. Learn to stop wrestling with the unchangeable. Learn to spend your energy wisely on the things that shape you. Only then will you truly be free. So here's the final question of this lesson. Will you continue struggling with what's beyond your reach? Or will you finally turn inward and reclaim your power? You can spend your entire life throwing punches at the wind, fighting systems, people, and outcomes you were never meant to control. Or you can use that energy to build yourself stronger, wiser, more peaceful. And if there's only one truth, You remember today, let it be this: you cannot control the world, but you can control yourself. And that is the only thing that truly matters. Truth number 6. We fear death, but not a meaningless life. We fear death. We avoid talking about it. We run from it. We distract ourselves with noise and busyness just to forget it's out there waiting. But strangely, we don't fear living a life without meaning. Isn't that humanity's greatest paradox? We're terrified of the end, yet we waste the time we do have like it's infinite. We tiptoe around the idea of dying, but we don't hesitate to live dull, disconnected lives. But ask yourself this: if death is the worst thing that can happen, isn't an empty life even worse? The problem isn't a lack of time. The problem is how carelessly we throw it away. Take a moment, just a moment, to reflect on today. Did you do something that mattered? Or did you let the hours slip by in meaningless tasks, endless scrolling, and mindless distractions? Too many people live as if they have a bottomless well of time, until one day, death knocks, and panic sets in. Not because it came too soon, but because they realize they never really lived. So why don't we fear a meaningless life? Because it's easy. It's convenient. Living without purpose takes no effort. You just follow the crowd. You walk the safe path. You do what's expected. You avoid discomfort. And you drift. But living with meaning, that takes courage. It means facing hard questions. It means rejecting what's shallow. It means chasing what sets your soul on fire, even if others don't understand it. Marcus Aurelius said, "It's not death that a man should fear, but rather he should fear never beginning to live." And that's the truth. Many people aren't truly alive. They exist, they wake up, they work, they eat, they entertain themselves, they sleep, and then they do it all again. But they never stop to ask, what truly makes me feel alive? They fear failure. They fear judgment. They fear stepping outside their comfort zone, so they settle. They accept mediocrity over meaning. They choose familiarity over fire. They call it realism. But it's just fear in disguise. Now imagine this: if you knew that tomorrow was your last day, would you still care what people think? Would you still delay that dream? Would you still silence your heart to please others? Or would you finally throw yourself into life with everything you've got? You've seen how much we suffer trying to control what lies far beyond our reach. But once we accept that truth, another question naturally follows. So what can I control? You can be angry. You can complain. You can scream into the void, hoping the world will listen. But pause and ask yourself, can I truly control this? If the answer is no, then why are you wasting your life trying? You cannot change the entire world with a single cry. You cannot bend chaos to your will. But there is one thing you can always control: yourself. You can choose how you respond. You can choose your words, your attitude, your actions. You can live in a world that often feels insane and still protect your peace. You can walk through storms with calm inside your chest. Epictetus once said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within your control and some things are not." Simple, but profound. Do you want to be happy? Then start here. Learn to let go of what was never yours to hold. Learn to stop wrestling with the unchangeable. Learn to spend your energy wisely on the things that shape you. Only then will you truly be free. So here's the final question of this lesson. Will you continue struggling with what's beyond your reach, or will you finally turn inward and reclaim your power? You can spend your entire life throwing punches at the wind, fighting systems, people, and outcomes you were never meant to control, or you can use that energy to build yourself stronger, wiser, more peaceful. And if there's only one truth, You remember today, let it be this: you cannot control the world, but you can control yourself, and that is the only thing that truly matters. Truth number 6. We fear death, but not a meaningless life. We fear death. We avoid talking about it. We run from it. We distract ourselves with noise and busyness just to forget it's out there waiting. But strangely, we don't fear living a life without meaning. Isn't that humanity's greatest paradox? We're terrified of the end, yet we waste the time we do have like it's infinite. We tiptoe around the idea of dying, but we don't hesitate to live dull, disconnected lives. But ask yourself this: if death is the worst thing that can happen, isn't an empty life even worse? The problem isn't a lack of time. The problem is how carelessly we throw it away. Take a moment, just a moment, to reflect on today. Did you do something that mattered, or did you let the hours slip by in meaningless tasks, endless scrolling and mindless distractions? Too many people live as if they have a bottomless well of time, until one day death knocks and panic sets in. Not because it came too soon, but because they realize they never really lived. So why don't we fear a meaningless life? Because it's easy. It's convenient. Living without purpose takes no effort. You just follow the crowd. You walk the safe path. You do what's expected. You avoid discomfort. And you drift. But living with meaning, that takes courage. It means facing hard questions. It means rejecting what's shallow. It means chasing what sets your soul on fire, even if others don't understand it. Marcus Aurelius said, "It's not death that a man should fear, but rather he should fear never beginning to live." And that's the truth. Many people aren't truly alive. They exist, they wake up, they work, they eat, they entertain themselves, they sleep, and then they do it all again. But they never stop to ask, what truly makes me feel alive? They fear failure. They fear judgment. They fear stepping outside their comfort zone, so they settle. They accept mediocrity over meaning. They choose familiarity over fire. They call it realism. But it's just fear in disguise. Now imagine this: if you knew that tomorrow was your last day, would you still care what people think? Would you still delay that dream? Would you still silence your heart to please others? Or would you finally throw yourself into life with everything you've got? We say we fear death, but most of us don't live like we do. Because if we truly feared the end, we would stop wasting the middle. We would stop waiting and start living. Why wait until death is near to finally start truly living? There's an old story, one that hits far too close to home for many people. A man worked tirelessly for 40 years. He saved, sacrificed, hustled. All for retirement, he told himself. One day I'll travel. One day I'll spend time with my family. One day I'll finally enjoy life. So he postponed joy. He postponed presence. He postponed everything that made his heart feel alive. But when retirement finally came, his health was gone. His body was tired. His loved ones had moved on with their own lives, and time had never once paused to wait for him. He didn't die at 70, he died at 30, the moment he stopped truly living. And now the question is, are you falling into the same trap? Are you waiting for someday to finally start doing what matters? How many dreams have you buried beneath fear and procrastination? How many things have you told yourself you'll get to later, but never started? The most important question in life is not, when will I die? It's, am I truly alive? Because death is guaranteed, but living fully, that's a choice, and no one, not even you, knows how much time is left. You might have 50 years, or just 50 days. But that's not what matters. What matters is, what will you do with the time you do have? Will you keep living like a machine? Waking, working, scrolling, sleeping. Will you keep waiting for the right time to be happy? Or will you choose right now to stop delaying, to stop fearing, to stop chasing things that don't matter? Find what makes your soul light up. Maybe it's a mission. Maybe it's a passion. Maybe it's the way you love, the way you show up, the way you connect with people around you. Because when death finally knocks, it won't count how many years you lived. It won't ask how many meetings you attended, or how busy your calendar was. It will only measure the impact you left behind. So ask yourself, do you want to leave this world with regret for a life half-lived? Or peace, knowing that you gave it everything? That decision isn't waiting for you in the future, it's here now in this moment. You don't need more time, you need more intention. And if you're ready to stop existing and start truly living, type it, say it, own it, comment, truly live, not just as words but as a vow, a declaration to yourself. Because in the end, no one remembers how long you lived. They only remember how you lived. You've reflected on the urgency of living fully, of not waiting until it's too late. But there's something else we must face if we truly want to live with purpose, ourselves. And that's where most people retreat. Truth number 7. We avoid silence and are afraid to face ourselves. Picture this. You're sitting in an empty room, no phone, no music, no one else around, just you and silence. How does it feel? Do you feel calm? Or do you begin to squirm, restless, anxious, itching to escape? If silence makes you uncomfortable, you're not alone. You may be suffering from one of the most dangerous afflictions of the modern age, the fear of facing yourself. We live in a world that's allergic to silence. From the moment we open our eyes, we're bombarded with noise, notifications, alarms, buzzes, scrolling headlines, messages, content. You step outside and hear honking horns, rushing footsteps, endless chatter. At work you put on headphones. Music, podcasts, background noise, anything to keep the mind busy. By nightfall you're deep in an endless feed of short videos, scrolling, tapping, watching, distracting. But the truth is, we're not just consuming, we're running from ourselves. Why? Because in silence there's nowhere to hide. In the quiet, the things you've tried to avoid come rushing back in. The fears, the regrets, the questions you never answered, the truths you buried beneath busyness. Without noise, distraction, and endless activity, you're finally left with the raw, unfiltered version of you, and that terrifies people. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "People try to get away from it all, to the country, to the beach, to the mountains. You always wish you could too, but you can get away from it any time you like by going within. We think we're escaping loneliness by filling our lives with noise, but the truth is, no matter where you go, you always take yourself with you. There is no running from who you are." In 2014, psychologists conducted a fascinating experiment. They placed participants alone in a silent room. No phone, no distractions, just themselves and their thoughts, for just 15 minutes. What happened? Most felt deeply uncomfortable. Some even chose to give themselves mild electric shocks, simply to break the silence. Just to have something to focus on, anything but their own mind. That's how far people will go to avoid their own thoughts. And yet the greatest minds in history embraced silence. Friedrich Nietzsche took long walks alone, letting thoughts flow freely through the quiet. Leonardo da Vinci, polymath, painter, visionary, devoted time to simply observe. In the silence, his ideas formed. His mind made connections that no one else could see. Because silence isn't an empty void, it's fertile soil, where wisdom takes root, where creativity grows, where clarity emerges. So how do we begin? Not by escaping it, but by leaning in. Start small. Just 10 minutes a day. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just use you in stillness, and when discomfort arises, let it. Don't run. Don't label it as failure. Don't judge your thoughts. Just observe. Let the chaos settle. Let the noise inside you echo and fade. This is not a battle. It's a homecoming, a journey inward, a return to the one place you've avoided the most, but need the most. Yourself. After. All once you learn to stop running from yourself, once you dare to sit in silence, you begin to hear the quiet truths you've been avoiding, but awareness doesn't stop at stillness. It deepens through reflection. Truth Nugget 7 continued. Self-awareness begins in silence and grows through reflection. One of the most powerful tools on this path is journaling. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote his famous meditations not to be published or praised, but as an honest, raw dialogue with himself. It was his space to think clearly, to confront himself, to grow. You can do the same. Write, not for likes, not for an audience, not to impress. Write to meet yourself. Put your thoughts on paper. Write down the emotions you've been bottling. Ask the questions that keep circling your mind. Let it be messy. Let it be real. Because clarity doesn't come from perfect sentences. It comes from honest ones. And when you're not writing, learn to enjoy your own company. Take a solo walk. Sit in a quiet cafe, just you and your thoughts. Watch the world around you without needing to comment, post, or respond. Let your mind drift without an agenda. Let yourself exist without performance. There's a rare kind of beauty in these quiet moments, a sacred stillness where you meet your truest self. No filters, no expectations, no noise, just you. Finally whole, finally free. Because when you stop running from silence, you'll discover it isn't a void, it's a doorway. A doorway to understanding, to peace, to strength. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, pause and listen. What is rising within you now? Conclusion. A new way forward. You've just walked through 7 hard truths. Maybe some were difficult to hear. Maybe they stirred something uncomfortable. Maybe they hit closer to home than you expected, but you needed to hear them, because life doesn't pause while we untangle our regrets. It doesn't wait for us to be ready. It moves, with or without us, and every moment you spend trapped in fear, guilt, denial, or resistance to reality is a moment you'll never get back. But here's the good news. You have a choice. You can. Keep living as you always have. Or you can let go, you can accept. You can move forward not with blind positivity, but with a mind that's sharper. And a soul that's lighter. That's what Stoicism teaches. Not to be cold, not to be numb, but to be free, to master yourself. To choose purpose over reaction, to walk through the chaos and remain unshaken. If this video spoke to you, even in a small way, let me know by tapping the like button. It tells me you're on this path too, that you're not just watching, you're walking. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments or your story. You never know who might be reading, quietly needing your words. And if you know someone struggling, someone caught in fear, in overthinking, in pain, share this video with them. Sometimes one sentence, one truth, is all it takes to change a life. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to Stoic Havenway. This is just the beginning. There's so much more ahead. Tools, reflections, stories to guide you home, to yourself. Thank you for being here. Now, breathe deeply. Stand tall and move forward, stronger than ever.